Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely pumped to jump into this today because, look, we're going to unpack something that totally flips the script on how we view money. For so many of us, making financial progress just feels like running on a treadmill, right? You wake up, grind for 40, 50, maybe 60 hours a week, pay the bills, and then bam, end of the month, there's just zero left to show for it. It's exhausting, and it's exactly what keeps people completely stuck in that endless rat race. But here's the thing. The difference between staying stuck and actually building generational wealth, it's not just about your salary. It literally comes down to strategic purchases. It's about knowing exactly what items, skills, and assets you need to buy to actually unlock your financial freedom. All right, so here's the blueprint we're walking through today. We're going to kick things off by busting the great spending myth. Then we'll cover how to invest in your mind, optimize your daily engine, and build your influence. Finally, we'll dive into how to buy assets and ownership, wrapping the whole thing up with the ultimate wealth multiplier question. Okay, part one, the great spending myth. Let's just go ahead and completely shatter this right out of the gate. We've all heard the standard money advice, right? Buying stuff keeps you broke. We're constantly told to save every single penny, axe the streaming accounts, and whatever you do, never ever buy that overpriced daily coffee. This hyper-frugal mindset has been hammered into us for decades. But honestly, that idea is only half right. And if you believe it blindly, you are completely missing the secret sauce of wealth building. Look, just saving your way to zero doesn't create wealth. It just keeps you from going broke today. What the ultra-successful actually get is that there are a handful of super specific, highly targeted purchases that do not drain your bank account at all. Actually, they act like seeds. You plant them and they just quietly multiply your cash in the background while you go about your life. And you know what the tipping point usually is? $1,000. Why 1,000? Well, psychologically, it's a really weird amount. It feels like a lot of money to lose, but it's not quite enough to retire on or profoundly change your life, right? So people just blow it. They go out, grab a new TV, or book a quick weekend getaway, and poof, the money is gone forever. But the fundamental difference between someone who stays stuck and someone who gets wealthy hinges entirely on what they do with that first extra $1,000. Are they buying something that eats cash, or are they funneling it into something that creates more of it? Today, we're going to look at the exact purchases that literally pay for themselves and keep making you money for years. Moving on to part two, invest in your mind. It is time to upgrade your internal software. There's this incredibly powerful rule of thumb when it comes to getting rich. The highest paying asset isn't actually in your stock portfolio. It's inside your brain. Just think about how true that is for a second. Stock markets crash. Massive companies go under and lay off thousands of people. The entire tech landscape can change overnight. But those hard-earned, valuable skills, those stay with you for life. Your internal mental software is essentially bulletproof. It is the ultimate shield against inflation and economic chaos. Because no matter what crazy stuff is happening in the global economy, your ability to solve complex problems will always be in demand. So what does this mean? It means spending cash to learn high-leverage skills is going to skyrocket your earning power for decades. Take video editing or AI automation, for example. If you drop a few $100 on a killer course to master AI tools, boom, suddenly you're doing the work of 3 people in half the time. I mean, that is massive lifetime leverage. Or let's look at sales and negotiation. Learn how to successfully close a deal, and you can walk into almost any business on the planet and generate revenue. Seriously, whether you're paying for specialized coaching, online boot camps, or certifications in coding or copywriting, these are not expenses. The IRS can't tax them, and no one can ever steal them from you. They are permanent compounding upgrades to your own personal earning capacity. Now, investing in your mind isn't just about the hard, technical stuff. It totally extends to foundational knowledge and how you view the world. Grab a $20 book on business, investing, or psychology, and you could literally save yourself from a $20,000 mistake. Why? Because you're learning directly from the painful, expensive failures of people who've already been there and done that. Knowledge compounds, exactly like money in the bank. And hey, don't sleep on buying experiences either. Think about the last physical thing you bought. Maybe a jacket or some gadget. It gets old fast, right? But dropping $500 to go to a business conference or travel somewhere that really pushes your limits, that introduces you to completely new ways of thinking. The stories, the grit, and the connections you yield from stepping outside your comfort zone become incredibly valuable assets. All right, section 3, optimize your daily engine. Let's talk about the physical side of wealth. Your body is your first business. Man, this is such a profoundly important concept, and it's crazy how often ambitious people completely ignore it until it's too late. Look, without physical energy, literally nothing else works. You absolutely cannot execute those high-level coding or sales skills we just talked about if your tank is empty, you're fighting brain fog, and you're surviving on 4 hours of sketchy sleep. Investing in your physical health directly levels up your daily decision-making, your total output, and your long-term consistency. And make absolutely no mistake, sharp decisions and relentless consistency are the exact, non-negotiable building blocks for creating monumental wealth. So how do you actually optimize this engine? Well, it means intentionally putting your money into better sleep tools, high-quality, nutritious food, and strength training. It means actually paying for comprehensive preventative health checkups. Just think about the sheer cost of ignoring this stuff. Burnout, chronic back pain from a terrible office setup, weeks of lost work because you're sick. That is incredibly expensive. Dropping $500 on an ergonomic chair or a standing desk might feel a little pricey right now, but it easily prevents $5,000 in physical therapy bills down the road. You simply can't view things like a fitness tracker or a gym membership as just basic health expenses. They are direct, tactical investments in your most important wealth-generating machine, yourself. Now, this is huge. There is a massive, life-altering difference between buying luxury and buying freedom. Luxury, like a massive house that requires constant maintenance, eats your cash and literally consumes your time. Freedom, on the other hand, buys your time back. Because remember, money can always be printed again, but time is strictly finite. That's exactly why successful people eventually stop doing everything themselves. They hire specialized help to delegate the small stuff. They automate repetitive data entry. They happily pay for premium software subscriptions. Why? Because premium software is basically a super efficient employee who never sleeps and never calls in sick. A faster laptop, a better camera, or professional-grade apps are not expenses to be minimized. Every single hour you save by delegating or upgrading your tools is an hour you can pour back into deep, creative work that pays off with exponentially bigger financial returns. Which brings us to section 4, build your influence. Because frankly, your network is your net worth. Look, 20 years ago, if you wanted massive influence, you pretty much had to own a TV network or a newspaper. Today, one smartphone is literally all it takes to reach the entire globe. Building a personal brand on YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, or through an email newsletter, it's like building a 24/7 sales rep that pitches for you while you're asleep. It generates inbound deals, pulls in high-paying clients, and unlocks speaking opportunities that raw money just cannot buy. But hey, influence is also about managing who influences you. Your environment quietly, relentlessly dictates your future. You've heard it before, you're the average of the people you hang out with the most. So you must spend money to put yourself in a better environment. Pay the entry fee for that elite conference, join premium mastermind communities, and actively hunt down great mentors. When you surround yourself with hungry, driven people who are playing the game at a much higher level than you, your own baseline standards automatically rise to meet theirs. Opportunities flow through relationships, guys, so invest heavily in building them. All right, section 5, buy assets and ownership. Time to actually build that portfolio. Okay, here is the absolute biggest mistake I see people make the second they start earning a little bit more cash. They immediately upgrade their lifestyle instead of their income. They go straight for pure status. They go out and buy a brand new luxury sports car that literally loses up to 20% of its value the absolute second the tires hit the pavement. And for what? To impress total strangers at a stoplight? Listen, true wealth is silent. The rich do not buy depreciating liabilities first. They buy income. They aggressively prioritize productive assets that will physically deposit cash into their bank accounts every single month, regardless of whether they're actively grinding at the office or taking a vacation. So what exactly are these magical productive assets? Well, they fall into a few incredibly powerful buckets. You've got broad market index funds and reliable dividend stocks, which basically let you own a tiny slice of global corporate profits. Then there's rental property and real estate, which throw off monthly cash flow while actually appreciating in value. Don't forget digital products, software, and intellectual property. The beauty of these, you build them once and you can sell them an infinite number of times for basically zero marginal cost. And of course, direct business ownership. The overarching goal with every single one of these purchases is astonishingly simple. Stop buying things that consume your cash and start owning things that generate it. And that brings us to the most foundational rule of modern finance. Employees earn salaries, but owners build wealth, period. As long as you are solely an employee, your income is permanently tied to the clock. If you stop working, you stop earning. Ownership is the ultimate, non-negotiable key to breaking that cycle and achieving true financial freedom. Whether you're buying up shares in a public company, starting your own agency, or building highly trafficked digital real estate, ownership is the one thing that successfully decouples your time from your money. Mathematically speaking, it's the only way you can eventually start earning money while you sleep. Finally, section 6,
The wealth multiplier question. Let's change the trajectory of your future.
Let's tie all of this together. There is a stark, undeniable contrast in how we spend our money. Poor purchases, they're driven entirely by ego. Sure, they make you look rich in the short term, but they leave you financially fragile. Smart purchases, though, those are driven by long-term strategy. They actually make you become rich. They are calculated, deliberate investments in upgrading your mind, fine-tuning your physical engine, buying back your precious time, expanding your network, and building a rock-solid asset portfolio. To make the leap, you have got to stop asking what you impulsively want right in the moment and start thinking like a true investor. I want to leave you with this exact provocative question. It should be the ultimate filter for every single dollar you earn from here on out. The next time extra money lands in your checking account, do not fall into the trap of asking, what do I want to buy? Instead, just hit pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what can I buy today that will pay me back tomorrow? That single, simple question, if applied consistently over the span of a few years, has the power to completely change your financial destiny. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this deep dive valuable, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss our future insights on investing, wealth building, and claiming absolute financial freedom. I will see you in the next one.